Welcome to Thriver's Ed, the podcast that's all about giving you the practical, no-nonsense advice you need to level up your life and business. I'm your host, Marcy Rossi, success coach, business strategist, and alcohol-free enthusiast. If you're ready to crush your goals, optimize your productivity, and live your best, most authentic life, then you're in the right place. Each week, we'll dive into topics like the psychology of success, practical strategies to boost your performance, and the unexpected ways living alcohol-free can elevate your life. Whether you're looking to boost your business, improve your health, or simply become a better version of yourself, Thriver's Ed is here to help you do just that. So grab your iced coffee, buckle up, and let's get thriving. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Thriver's Ed. So I recently signed up for a challenge where the goal is to sell 6 offers in 3 months. So every couple weeks, I am going to be promoting something, primarily something new, and I'm really excited about it. But obviously, I have been thinking a lot about offers lately, and so I wanted to talk about offers today. And for today's episode, I really wanted to focus on what to do before you launch your offer. So we're going to create kind of a pre-sale checklist, if you will, of things to be considering. So you've got this offer, right? Maybe you've emailed it to your list or you have this plan of how you're going to launch it. And if it's not actually selling and converting, you might start to be doubting yourself, right? You might think that maybe you priced it wrong or that you need to ramp up your ad strategy or you just really need to double down in order to get this in front of more people. But what I want to suggest to you is that you might not have a marketing problem. You might have an offer problem. And this is actually good news because it's one of the most fixable, like easily fixable things in your business. Because if you fix this offer, your marketing has something solid to stand on, right? You're not trying to trick people into buying something from you. You've got this clear solution to a problem that they either know that they have or that you've done the work to show them that they have. Now, most of the time, people skip the foundational work of building their offers because it's not exciting, right? You want to jump straight into building the sales page or that course that you're building, but really, we have to take a step back and understand what your audience actually wants from you. And you might not be absolutely sure about this. Whereas changing up your brand colors and creating mock-ups, those are fun and they feel like we're making progress, but without a strong, specific, and clearly communicated offer, we honestly don't have anything at the end of the day. So this episode is going to help you get your offer right because then everything gets easier from there. Your copy flows, your content resonates with your audience starts engaging with the offer, and they actually buy, which is really the whole point of doing this. So today we're going to go deep on offer clarity, understanding your audience, your positioning, your messaging, and how to use some tools so that you can refine what you've built and optimize it. So these are 5 things I wish entrepreneurs would nail before they try to sell something, because if your offer isn't clear, compelling, and easy to say yes to, there is no funnel, Canva graphic, or email sequence in the world that's going to fix it. So let's dive into your pre-sale checklist. Number 1 is your offer solving a specific, urgent problem? Now, my mentor uses this great metaphor, especially when we're talking about smaller offers. If someone is dehydrated, what they're wanting in the moment isn't this 6-month hydration protocol to solve their dehydration problems once and for all. What they want is a glass of water, right? Their head is hurting, their lips are chapped, they're, unable to swallow because their mouth is so dry. They want a solution now, and your offer needs to be that glass of water. This is what they want. It may not be what they need long term, but this is what they want, and they're going to buy what solves that problem. So oftentimes I see people offering this huge transformation, this like life, especially in the coaching world where we're transforming your lives, and it's just this very vague outcome. But what people want is to stop feeling overwhelmed by a very specific thing. Now, the good news on this is that the market is shifting. We used to have a bunch of these really comprehensive programs that sold everything under the sun related to what you do, and those are losing steam these days. What people are really doubling down on are things that provide fast wins and are very focused. So specificity is what's selling. Now, if you're not sure if your offer is clear enough, do some research, right? Go on Reddit, start searching for terms that your ideal client might be using. Maybe dive into some Facebook groups in your niche and read the questions that people are asking for. Go to YouTube and look up videos that are addressing this problem and see what the comments are and the questions underneath, and see if your offer is actually addressing those. What we're trying to find is what is keeping someone up at night, and then the language, the specific language that they're using to describe it. I'm going to dive back into that in just a minute, but make sure we're not just figuring out what the problem is, but how they are actually talking about it. And the more specific, I know I'm saying specific over and over again, but the more specific you can be, the better. Specificity paints a very clear picture that makes it feel like this offer was made for you, right? If your offer addresses overwhelm and burnout, and that's how you're talking about it, that's completely different than saying you've had 15 tabs open and you still haven't finished one damn thing, right? That's a clear picture of someone who is overwhelmed with something, not making progress, and what it is that they're actually looking for, which is to feel like they're moving in the right direction. And again, when we're talking about a very specific solution, make sure it's a solution that they want, not what you think they want, not what they'd get if they committed to your entire framework, just what they're asking for. Because this particular offer that we're talking about right here is a gateway into more offers with you. It's not the destination, it's just a first stop. Number 2 is, how are you describing the offer? Are you focusing on features or outcomes? So here's the thing. No one buys a hammer. They buy the ability to hang pictures on their wall or to put two pieces of wood together. If you wanted to sell me a pen, you wouldn't say that it's a 5.5-inch piece of plastic filled with ink, right? It's going to be about why I should care about the pen. It's going to help me jot down notes. It's going to help me keep track of things so that I don't forget them. It's going to help me sign contracts and write down to-do lists and shopping lists, etc. Right? This is the benefit of a pen, and that's what we're focused on. Not the length of the tube or the color of the ink. It is the usefulness of that item. So similarly, no one's going to buy a 90-minute call. No one buys 6 coaching sessions. They buy what happens because of those calls. It's the breakthrough. It's the decisions. It's the relief from no longer feeling stuck. This is for all offers that we're talking about here: digital products, group programs, one-on-one coaching, masterminds. They're not buying the deliverables. They're buying the results that those deliverables create. And this is a very common trap that I see new business owners falling into all of the time, because it is common practice to list out everything that's included. And there is good reason for this, right? There are particular buyer types that want all of the details. They want to know exactly what they're going to get. But that is the logic part. And people don't buy based on logic. They buy based on emotion. So yes, we want to have that information there. You should say that it's, 6 modules, 12 lessons, 4 templates, and a Slack group. But that's not where we stop, right? We have to give them the why. So for each of these things, the modules, the lessons, the templates, the whatever, it should be able to answer so that, right? So for example, you get weekly calls so that you have time to troubleshoot and to get clarity on your next steps. You get a plug and play email sequence so that you're not stuck staring at a blank screen for 5 hours wondering what to say. You get X, Y, and Z template and tutorial so that you can get this blank process done without hiring someone else or wasting your weekend Googling how to do something. So if you're listing out these features of your offer and you can't finish that sentence, that sentence in a way that feels useful or tangible, either that feature's got to go or you need to understand why it's in your offer in the first place. All of these features should paint a very clear picture of the after. What will they know after? What will they have? What will they feel? Who will they be? These features should help answer that question. This is especially important if any of your features are maybe a little bit more insider, right? So they may not understand what a week of Voxer access means, but they will understand what it means to stop second guessing themselves every single time they look at their business plan. And don't just focus on these big picture transformations, that final transformation. Show the little wins they're going to pick up along the way, right? Someone's not buying complete confidence in their business future. It's finally knowing exactly what they need to do tomorrow morning. Your clients aren't just looking for things. They want momentum. They want progress. They want something that is going to take them from stuck to whatever it is that they wish they were feeling. And every part of your offer should be serving that ultimate goal. Number 3, is your messaging written for and by real humans? Okay, let's be real. Just about everyone and their mom is using ChatGPT these days, so there is a lot of robotic sounding garbage out there. I've seen it. I'm sure you've seen it. It gets easier and easier to identify the more often that you use ChatGPT. And I'll be honest, I use ChatGPT a lot too, right? It is a fantastic tool for helping you flesh out some of your ideas, see some of your missing points, and really kind of get the brainstorming session started. But it should never be your final draft. And unfortunately, I'm seeing a lot of copy online, and you probably have too, that feels like it's straight from ChatGPT. It's this very flowery language dripping with these buzzwords that, first of all, people don't actually say, and they don't actually mean anything. Your job when describing your offer and talking to your audience isn't to sound fancy or impressive. It's to be clear. It's to present you as someone who can be trusted to deliver on the promise that you're making. So how do we actually do this? Well, first we listen. So if you already have an audience that you're engaging with regularly, make sure that you're taking the time to document the exact words that they're using to describe their problems and their desires. If you don't, it's time to start looking and doing the research. So dive into those Facebook groups and Reddit threads where your ideal clients are already hanging out and read what they're asking about. And this time, it's not just the what is the problem, but how specifically they are talking about it. Because people aren't using ChatGPT to ask questions on Reddit, right? They might be using that to respond, but that's not where it's coming from. These are coming from real, raw, messy humans, and that is what's going to resonate with them, right? Because we're trying to talk to real, raw, messy humans. We're not trying to get robots to buy from us. So instead of transforming your limiting beliefs to reclaim your sovereign self, it's, you know what, I'm sick of waking up with anxiety every morning about whether or not I'm actually going to make a sale today, right? Really using the language of the people that it is that you're serving. The best copywriters are those that listen. They steal their words, ethically, of course, right? They're listening to their audience, making note of how they speak, and parroting it back to them in a way that really resonates and that rings true to the author. So when you find these pieces of gold, make sure that you're sprinkling them throughout your website copy. Put them in your headlines, put them in bullet points, put them in your calls to action. The goal here is to get people to say, oh my God, that's exactly it. That's exactly how I feel. It's like you're reading my diary, right? That is the kind of specificity and personalization that we're hoping to bring with our language. Next, make sure you read all of your copy out loud. If you wouldn't actually say those exact words in that exact order in a conversation with someone, please don't put it on your page. This isn't a term paper. You're trying to connect with another person, and the way we do that is through our communication. If it comes off like you're trying a little too hard to sound smart, it's probably going to create distance with your audience. We're going to ditch the vague here, right? Unlock your potential, up-level your business, get unstuck. It's just flowery language, like my husband would describe it. So let's get really concrete here. Instead of unstuck, it's finally finish that damn sales page. Instead of up-level your biz, it's go from chasing clients to having them chase you down. The goal here is to prove that you understand where they're at and that you have a path forward that's going to make sense to them. Remember this, confused people don't buy. Cash hates confusion. Disconnected people don't buy. And people who feel like this offer is not for them, like you're not speaking directly to them specifically, they're not buying, right? Your job is to sound like a real person who can solve their very real, very specific problem. All right, so next up, number 4, have you made it easy for them to say yes? So this is about friction and some of the ways that your offer might actually be pushing people away. When someone lands on your sales page or is reading about your offer or listening to your pitch, their brain is asking a million questions, right? Do I understand what this is? Is this for me? Can I trust this person? Should I act now, etc.? And if your messaging or your layout or your delivery makes any of those answers fuzzy, they have to work too hard to decide whether or not to buy from you, and they won't bother doing that. So your job is to remove all of the friction between I'm interested and I am in, or at least to the best of your ability. So how do we do this? Number one, is the transformation clear within the first 10 seconds? People are not reading every single word on your page. They are skimming it. And if you have your core promise buried in a big block of text with 50 bullet points, they're not going to read it, right? So lead with the win right at the top. Number two, is your checkout process straightforward? So if they finally decide to buy and they hit this confusing or clunky checkout page, that excitement is gone and they're going to peace out. So make it super simple to pay you. Next up is, do your testimonials build trust, or even are you even presenting testimonials? This is really big, especially if you don't have a big audience. Even just like a single quote from someone who experienced a real result can go a long way to provide social proof that this offer has worked for someone else, so maybe it'll work for me too. This proof is what builds confidence into saying yes. Number four, have you answered obvious objections? There may be some questions that come up that you can't anticipate, but most of the time, people are going to have questions around time and money, right? So if they're wondering, is this too advanced for me, or do I have to reach a certain level before I can do this? If they're wondering how much time they need to input in this, those have to be on the page. Don't make them reach out and ask you. Just anticipate what they might be hesitating on and go ahead and answer that before. Now, in terms of what is actually happening on their page, one of the most helpful tools you can use is Hotjar. So if you don't already have that on your website, pause this episode, go do it right now, because Hotjar is a free tool. You can upgrade if you have really large traffic, but there is a free version, and it'll give you heat maps and recordings so that you can literally watch how people are interacting with your page. Once you've got this there, you can look at things like, are people skipping certain sections? And maybe we need to move them around so that they actually bring up attention. Maybe they're stuck in a certain area for a long time, and that could signal confusion or a bit of hesitancy there. Maybe they're leaving before they even get to the buy button, and you're either sending the wrong traffic there, or we're not making it clear what the transformation is that's waiting for them on the other side. Finally, look at the overall vibe of your page. Is it easy to skim? Do you have lots of white space? Are you using bold and space and headlines to guide them? If it looks like just like a wall of text, like you type something out on a Word doc, it's not going to convert no matter how great your offer is. Your page should make the yes feel obvious, easy, and safe. And if it's not, you've got some work to do. Number 5 is simple and something that probably 95% of people skip. And that is, have you gotten feedback from someone with a pulse on what it is you're trying to do, and ideally good judgment? So here's the thing. You are too close to your offer to evaluate it properly, period. You already know what you're meaning to say, which means your brain is going to fill in all of the gaps in your sales page. But your potential client or customer doesn't have that context. So if anything is unclear or clunky or just not landing with them, they're going to bounce and you won't know why. And yes, I am all about self-sufficiency, but this is one of those moments where getting an outside perspective is non-negotiable. I recently have been trading feedback with someone in one of my mastermind groups, and it is gold. Like, she found things that I never would have seen because I already knew the answer to these things, right? It wasn't clear that someone might be struggling with this particular piece, and it really increased the value of what it is that I was already offering. And honestly, the value was already there. This was just like the creme de la creme. So I found this was super helpful. In hers, she had a spreadsheet, and I found some formulas that weren't working, right? If we were to sell that to a client and this was their first impression of us, it might not leave the kind of lasting impression that's going to make them be lifetime buyers. And it's so simple to do, so valuable. You can just trade products or services with someone else, or even just trade reviews, right? You look at my sales page, I'll look at yours. And this is insanely helpful, brutally helpful, but insanely helpful. So find a peer, someone who understands your audience and will be honest with you. We're not just asking, does this look okay? That's useless. We want specific questions like, where did you get confused or made you hesitate? What made you excited? What feels like it's missing? Does this sound like something you would buy, or something you've seen a million times, or something it's not convincing enough that you would actually put your credit card down? You can take this one step further by then asking them, after they've reviewed the product or the sales page or whatever it is, to sell it back to you. Meaning, how would they describe that exact offer to a friend? And this can help you see what is actually sticking versus what's simply getting lost. Here's the thing. Feedback is fantastic, but it obviously matters more from someone with skin in the game versus just general opinions. Your cousin who doesn't run a business and is not your ideal audience is probably not the best person to ask. But your business friend who's launched 3 offers in the last 6 months or 6 offers in the next 3 months, that person who knows what it's like to test and tweak and optimize, that is a person who's going to offer some real gold for you. Now, feedback is scary because it puts us in a vulnerable position, but honestly, you're too close to your own stuff, and feedback is how you zoom out and actually improve it. It doesn't mean you have to take all of their advice, but if multiple people are saying the same thing over and over again, it's time for you to pay attention. So go get eyes on your stuff, get feedback, get some perspective. Okay, so your Thrive in 5 today is to go back through these 5 points and make sure that your offer is nailing them. So number 1, is your offer solving a specific, urgent problem? 2, are you focusing on the features, why they should care, right? It's that so that piece. Number 3, your messaging. Is it written for and by a real human in a way that makes that reader feel like, yes, this is exactly what I need? Number 4, have you made it easy to say yes? Like it should be no-brainer, yes is what we're looking for here. And then number 5, have you gotten feedback from someone whose judgment that you can actually trust? If your offer is not converting, it's probably because one of these pieces are missing. It's because it's not solving the right problem, or it's not very clear, or you simply haven't removed the barriers to entry. But this is totally fixable, and it doesn't require a big fancy brand shoot or a huge Instagram audience. You just need to build an offer that's clear, specific, built around what your audience actually wants, not just what you think would be fun to offer them, is easy to say yes to, and that resonates with the person that's trying to review it, which you can hopefully get some feedback from a friend. Look, you've already done the hard part. You've created the thing. So now let's make sure people actually want to buy it. And if you want an expert set of eyes on your offer to spot those blind spots, stay tuned because I've got something coming that's going to help you get your offer sales ready without spending weeks rewriting your entire sales page. Until next time, use this checklist to review your offer, and I will see you next week. Until then, keep thriving.